Yo, what's up? In this video I will do a walkthrough of the second-hand market of Tesla only. So this is like a follow-up video to the previous one when I went on fin.no and I show you guys some of the cars. But okay, a little comment by the way. These prices are, I guess they are relevant for you if you live in Norway, but if you don't live in Norway, these are really not that relevant. I will in general not talk too much about the price. Well, I mean, there will be some mentioning about the price, but it's more about what models should you look for, what should you not look for, and how much is this in euros? Well, just roughly divided by 10, and you see it's 23,000 euros or pounds or whatever, sterling or yeah, shilling, yeah, right? People use shilling still. So let's just dive into the first car here, the lowest, the cheapest one. It's a model SP85 Plus. And what is the P85 Plus? Back then when these cars came out, there were mainly three, you see the badge back there, three variants of this 85 pack. We had the regular 85 and then the P85, which had a more powerful inverter, but I believe it's still the same rear motor. And then the P85 Plus, which had lower suspension and stiffer suspension. That pack cost about 30,000 NOK extra. But the P85 and the P85 Plus is as fast, equally fast to CO200. But of course the P85 is faster than the regular 85 when it comes to acceleration. And all of these cars are rear-wheel drive. There's a large induction motor in the back. And I measured it before, by the way, that the P85 versus the regular 85 is as equal they are equally efficient. Yeah, so I guess once we go over to the newer cars, I will talk more about the efficiency. But there's one thing I want to show you, which is that if you want roof rack on these cars, here you see that one. This is the mount for the roof rack. So if you don't get the panorama roof, then you don't get roof rack. So look for panorama roof if you want roof rack. Otherwise, you might be disappointed. And let me see now. This car also has, yeah, that was, yeah. So you see, not long ago, last year, it got a new MCU. So this is great news because the MCU is they call it MCU, it's the media control unit. It's the center screen. And there is a weakness with the center screen here. Here you see better. Nowadays, they start failing. They go black. And what happens there? So Tesla, they did some, they programmed the car in a somewhat silly way. It logs a lot of stuff, logs a little bit too much in some people's opinion. And all that data is written to a memory card, and then after a while it has to overwrite it, and then the memory card will eventually fail. But it usually takes around 5 to 6, 7 years, depending on how much you drive and all that. But nowadays they start failing around, yeah, it started, some of them already started failing last year. And what happens is that the screen goes completely black because the memory has failed. Tesla, some places they replace it under warranty for free, but then recently they started being a little bit yeah, not so cool. So they ask the customers to pay. Some people had to pay 30,000 NOK to get it replaced or fixed or whatever. But there are also some some third-party people who start repairing them, like Bosch Car Service, like some the EV services in Bergen. They also do this, so you can find it more and more now. You can find stuff, places where you can get the MCU fixed, and it's almost like a timing belt that you should fix it before it goes black, before it bricks almost, because then it's easier to recover from it. Once it goes completely black, then you kind of screwed, or you could be screwed. It depends how it is. But okay, back to the point here. This car is good in that way that the MCU was replaced. So that means statistically you should have at least 5-6 years before it will break again. But they put on just a new MCU from Tesla. But like I mentioned, the companies that replaces the MCUs, they tend to put in bigger memory cards. The standard was 16 gig, and they put in 32 or something or bigger. So it means that it will take way longer. It might take 10-15 years before the MCU or before the memory is kaput again. And then this one is also good news because this year this car has received a new, this is high voltage battery, the main battery, but it's an overhaul battery. And that means that hopefully it will last for a long time before it starts degrading or getting some issues, because this car is from 2013, and that means that next year the warranty for the battery and drivetrain will run out. It has 8-year unlimited kilometers for battery and drivetrain. So yeah, next year will, and then it also replaced the motor at 80,000 kilometers. That was a very common problem with these cars, is that the motors, they start making this weird grinding noise. I had it on Millennium Falcon also, my P85 back in the days. And Tesla would, of course, replace them under warranty. Lots of warranty cases replacing motors. This one replaced it at 80,000, and it seems like they haven't replaced it anymore or something, or it's working fine now. So that's good. So I'm not going to directly say that you should buy this car or don't buy this car, whatever. I will just try to point out pros and cons on each one. But this car has nothing mentioned about, let me see, yeah, this is just general stuff. They haven't mentioned anything about the 4G upgrade though, because I also made a video about it, which is, let me see, can we see a picture of it? Kind of, no. LTE, oh, what do I see there? Yeah, great news, I forgot. This car, since it has a new MCU, it means that it has 4G capabilities, because the old ones didn't have it. And that means you have to pay 5,000 NOK if you want to upgrade it to 4G. Otherwise, you will be stuck in 2G, 3G. And the problem in Norway is that Telenor, which these cars, they are equipped with Telenor SIM card, and they are on the Telenor network. And Telenor will eventually shut down 3G, which means that every place where you used to have okay connectivity with 3G, it will be only 2G or edge. So it basically means that when you use like this, you use satellite map, it will load dog slow. And when you play music via Spotify, it would be shit slow. So yeah, so you might want to upgrade it. It will cost 5,000 NOK. I don't know if other places will do it even cheaper, but yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, but I think we look enough at that car. Let's take a look at, okay, next one here is a 60 pack. And you guys probably watched the video recently where I show you that that the 85 pack has had a big decrease in supercharging speed. And the 60 pack, when I tested it many years ago, it was charging way slower than the 85, but that was an issue back then. They solved it eventually, so it charges faster, but still, the 60 pack, because naturally it's a smaller pack, it will charge slower than the 85. So based on what I knew back then, and based on what I know about the 85 pack, I will actually assume that the 60 pack will charge even slower than the nerfed 85 pack. So I would just, based on this, okay, I kind of move on deep water here, but or thin ice, but I would say avoid the 60 pack. Yeah, so some of the people who own the 60 pack, they're like, shit, Bjørn, why you do that? I would avoid them, because the argument, let's say 2, 3, 4 years ago, was that back then the nerf didn't kick in yet, and then back then the difference between the 60 pack and the 85 pack when it comes to price is bigger. So it made more sense back then to go for a 60 pack because they were more affordable. But nowadays you see that the 85 packs, they also get a new battery, or at least a refurbished one. They have new motor, they have new MCU. So the difference in kilometers on these two cars is not that much relevant anymore. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, but that's just my opinion about it. And then I want to show you, by the way, this one. I don't think this one has panorama roof. So you can see, usually you can just look at the car and you see the roof. Yeah, you see here, this one doesn't have the panorama roof, so you can't have roof rack. If you don't give a shit about roof rack, then no big deal. Yeah. And let me check what they say about this car. Yeah, they mentioned that one. Let's see, do they say anything about... No, this one doesn't only one key. Okay, but you can, yeah, another one, no big deal. But no major replacement on that one. Let's see, the next one here is a 60 pack. I mean, should we just look? Okay, let's look at the next 60 pack here. But oh yeah, and also the range on the 60. Okay, the range on the 85, I measured to be around 400 to 450 kilometers. Range on the 60 pack is only around 300 kilometers. But that's, remember, that's the range on the full battery. And because the charge is slow, you will probably charge to only 60-70%. And then it means that in winter, you might have to charge for, okay, I haven't tested this, but just rough calculation that you might have to charge 45 minutes to drive 150 kilometers. Something like that, just my assumption again. But so that's why it's, to me, no, shade away from this if long trips matters. Of course, if you just want to buy a 60 pack just to drive around town, then go for it. Then yeah. But let's see, did they write anything else about this car? No, not really. Yeah, so not much. Okay, and also, by the way, when it comes to supercharging, these cars that I mentioned now, pretty much all of the cars I will mention in this video will have free supercharging. Most Teslas up until around, when was it? 2017 or something has free supercharging. So don't worry about that. Let me see, can we check this one? It was sold, but it's still relevant to take a look at it. To see what they have done with it, or if they had some replacement or whatever. Yeah, you see this one has 4G upgrade. And let me see, okay, tech package, yeah, not too much to mention, okay. But I want to check out something here. If you look at the pictures, you can find out a lot by looking at the pictures. Here, this one was I'm looking for. Oh yeah, it's kind of blurry, right? It's not that bad, is it? No, I think that's one is okay, because some people, they tend to rub the backup camera to clean it, and I recommend not to do it because you will cause lots of small micro scratches every time, and over time the whole lens becomes blurry. So if that matters to you, just take a look, put the car in reverse and take a look at the camera and stuff. But you can go to Tesla and get it replaced. I think it costs 5,000 NOK to get a brand spanking new camera, and then you're good. But well, let me check out the other pictures. I don't remember exactly. There's just so much stuff to look for or to look at when it comes to these cars. But one thing though is that these classic cars. Oh yeah, I found one. So look here. The front on these classic cars are just enormous. There is also this hole here you can put stuff. So in terms of storage space, this is just outstanding, but you only get this huge frunk in the classic, in the rear-wheel drive. Once you get the dual motors after 2015, then the frunk is about half of this or less. Yeah, so if you need lots of space, that's actually an advantage to go for a classic 85 or 60 or whatever, the rear-wheel drive, because you have so much frunk space. And then, yeah, I should mention that you also get this. Oh, this one, huh? Interesting. Let me see. Do we have other pictures there? Okay. Here's a better picture. So, from the factory, it was just an open space, but they put in that extra center console here. So it looks better. It's, of course, not as open as before, but many people, they prefer this type of console that you get in the more modern cars. So that is also something you can buy, not too expensive. You can buy them secondhand for 2,000 NOK, and you can mount it yourself, or maybe get a little bit of help from Tesla or some friend to fix it for you. But let me see here. I'm going to check again what this one has. Okay, this is the 85, and okay, don't trust these numbers because this is the NEDC range. So like I mentioned, I tested one recently and it should go around 400 to 450 kilometers. It's 5 to 6 again, okay, and let me see, yeah, do we have anything interesting here? No, not really, no, okay, yeah. In general, I don't like these companies selling the cars because they don't provide too much information about that actual car. You see, there's a little bit of stuff here, but this is just based on spec that you know already. And then you have some stuff here that is also stuff you already know. And then this is just the equipment. And then you have all this crap about the financing and that shit. So when you read these ads, you just finding one from a private person is better, because then you will have more useful information. like here, I guess. Okay, I skipped a little bit here. I searched for P90 because I want to show you something. These are supposed to be 85 packs, right? But some people are lucky. This one here, it says P90, and originally P90 doesn't exist, but if we look here, he should have a picture. Yes, here, look, P90. What the heck is this thing? Is this a unicorn? No, the battery on this car failed. And then he was lucky, or he or she was lucky, and Tesla gave them a brand new 90 pack. So this is actually a gem. If you find some of these, let me see. Let me see if they. It's a good call to go for it, because then you won't be that much nerve when. That's it. No more information. You have to call and ask more about this then, because they didn't write too much here. Yeah, see here. Okay, they did say new battery pack in 2019. So this is great. This is a bargain then compared to some of the other cars. But what's the price? Yeah, it's also kind of pricey, at 350,000. So he probably knows that he can take a little bit extra for this. But the 90 pack doesn't have the same supercharger speed restriction as the 85 pack, and it has better range, so it's okay. They haven't changed the badge, but yeah. So if you find one of those, that's good shit. And this one here is a 7-seater. You see, it says 85, 7-seater, free. Okay, 4G. So this has a 4G upgrade. But let's check the picture. So it comes, they call it a 7-seater, but it's actually not for 7 adults. It's just for 2 extra kids. There's some height and weight restrictions, but at least, you know, you can put your kids in the trunk. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But it also means that it steals a little bit of space here. So for those the regular 5-seater, this space under here is usable space for more cargo. And oh yeah, this one, I can see it also on this side here. There's an opening there. That means that this car doesn't have the sound package. If you have the sound package, the subwoofer will be there. Okay, now I see 70Ds. I set the filter to 2015 and newer. And the 70D is just an 85. It's based on the 85 and 60 battery cell technology, and they made one with a smaller pack. But from what I heard from people who own these cars is that they also charge slow, so it almost falls in the same category as the 60 packs. But again, if you don't care too much about slow charging, then go for it, because the 70D is the first affordable all-wheel drive version of the Model S, but it will also have smaller frunk. So let's see if I can find one. Finding pictures always yeah, here we found. Oh, lucky. So you see the frunk in the 70D, or from now on P85D, whatever, it will be something like this. So it's way smaller than before, because I had to put the drivetrain for the front in here. And also around 2015 is when you get taller headrest. So these are safer in my opinion than the classic ones. But the problem with these headrests is that it blocks the rear view a lot, and you see it's clumsy. You can't adjust them, but at least safety wise they are better if you have lots of passengers in the back often. And if you look in the front here, from around 2000, well, it was by the end of 2014, and then roughly from 2015, you start seeing autopilot in these cars. So they call it AP1. There will be a radar there, and let's see, and then in the front here, you see that triangle there. That's one camera for the front, but that's pretty much it. They don't have any side cameras and all that. That's AP2, so this is the AP version 1 hardware. And the good thing about it is that finally here you get adaptive cruise control, and you get autopilot, but it's slightly different tech than the ones from today, which is, you know, neural network and all that. So the advantage with the classic autopilot 1 is that, do we have a picture of the autopilot stuff here? No, not really. But the advantage with the autopilot 1 is that it doesn't have phantom braking. So it actually works quite well to be such an old system that I don't know how much they updated. They're probably more heavily focused towards AP2 and so on, but it's still decent autopilot system. Oh, an 85D, yeah, okay. I forgot to mention that with the introduction of the 70D and the 85D, wait, was it the same? The 85D has a slightly different battery than the 80 pack, the 85 pack. I think it has a little bit more initial capacity, but I'm not sure. These ones might also be affected by the charging, supercharging. But with the introduction of the 85 motors, you have. Okay, let me see. Let me show you a picture of it, so it's easier to illustrate that. You know, in the classic one, you had one big rear motor, but then with the 85D, you have a smaller motor in front and a smaller motor in the back. But the 85D came along with the P85D. So the P85D was just basically a regular P85 with a big motor in the back plus a smaller induction motor in the front. But at least the 85D has the same small motor in the back, front and the back, and the 85D is quite efficient compared to the regular rear-wheel drive, because you have a smaller motor that basically when you are driving, cruising at the motorway or something, not using too much power, it will be front-wheel drive. It will just put the rear-wheel drive in sleep. The P85D is slightly thirstier, but they also put the rear motor into sleep, but the P85D can never be as efficient as the 85D. So you have a very efficient car. So when I mentioned that, do we have any range numbers? Nah, but when I mentioned that the P85 and the 85 rear-wheel drive, you get around 400-450 kilometers of range. With this one, without testing it, because it's more efficient, you should get closer to 500 kilometers of range, even with an old battery. But again, I haven't tested it. This is just based on what I know about these cars, because I can simply not test every version of it nowadays. And here we see P85D, and this is the performance, but it says Insane Plus. So when the P85D came out, it was pretty kick-ass. It was fast, and well, there was also a little bit of a, you can almost say it like a scandal, because Tesla announced it as 700 horsepower. But when I tried it, I also back then owned a P85. I didn't feel like it was that much faster than my P85, and in the end, the whole thing about the 700 horsepower, whatever, it was theoretically possible to, and the motors could output 700 horsepower, but the limitation was in the battery. So I think if I remember correctly, the P85 has around, the 85 has around 400 something horsepower. Oh no, 360, yeah, 360, 370 horsepower, okay, 85. P85 had around 470 horsepower, so almost 100 horsepower more than the regular one. And then the P85D was around 530 something, so it wasn't 700 horsepower. So when you buy this car, don't expect 700 horsepower. There was lots of people who felt they were tricked by Tesla, that they didn't get the 700 horsepower they were supposed to get. And what is this Insane Plus thing? Well, back then they call it Insane. Okay, I'm going to show you here. There's a picture of it here, there. So chill, what's a feature included later, but I think before it was called Normal or something, and Sport. So for the 85, you would have the Sport mode, but then you will also have, for the P85D, you have the Insane mode. And the Insane Plus is a ludicrous upgrade for this car. So the ludicrous came with the 90 packs. Wait, was it that 90? Yeah, the P90D ludicrous. And the ludicrous involves some thicker, they had this smart fuse, tech from supposedly from SpaceX, and the smart fuse allow you to pull more current than before from the battery. Okay, still being the battery still being a limitation here, but this one has the ludicrous upgrade, so it's like an extra thing here. And how much extra power do you get? Well, you still don't get 700 horsepower. It's probably slightly more than the regular P85D. So yeah, lots of people here probably know more about this, but I just want to mention this in case you're looking at these ads and you wonder what the heck is this thing here. Do we see more info, more pictures here? No. And it says, okay, well, interesting. This doesn't say P85D, because ludicrous at least if it's a 90 pack, and if it's in the Model X and S later models, you will have an underline. So underline indicates that it's the ludicrous. If it doesn't have it, then it's just the regular performance model. Oh, the first 90D. Now we're cooking, and so this is a 90D. So the 90D, like I mentioned, it has a small front and rear motor. So this is an efficient car, and because it's a 90 pack, then it has a slightly different chemistry than the 85 pack. So you shouldn't be, what do you have? Okay, yeah, you also have the larger headrest there, but you shouldn't be restricted that much in the supercharger speed. So maybe it will kick in a couple of years, we don't know, but as for now, it still charges fairly fast. And you also, because it's a 90 pack, you should have 500, maybe even 550 kilometers of range based on my assumption. Again, yeah, my assumptions. And this car here has the next gen seat. The next gen seat looks more sporty. I'm gonna show you now versus this one, which is the classic seat or whatever. They are somewhat flat, and also with that type of leather, you tend to slide on this leather. It doesn't give you that much friction. So for me, it was like, okay, I kind of like it back then, but then the problem I had with the next gen seat was that it was hard for me to enter and exit the car because the steering wheel was a little bit in the way. But they fixed that with easy entry software update. So now you can configure the car to raise the steering wheel and even push the seat backward or whatever, push the seat down. So the disadvantage with next gen seat when you enter and exit the car is not that, it's not really a problem anymore. So if you prefer this type of seat versus this type of seat, then try to look for the next gen seat, because this is, okay, you see this one versus way better. And now we will take a look at the Model X's, and at the bottom you will see lots of 75D and 60D. Why is this? But it's 60. All the Model X's are all-wheel drive. There is no rear-wheel drive Model X. But if you get a good price on a 60, I say that's a good deal, because the 60 pack is just a 75 pack that has been restricted via software. It doesn't use the top part of the battery. And to me, it's a bargain, because it will charge as fast as a 75 pack. And also, a good thing is that you know that the user could simply not charge it to full 100% because it was blocked. So it means that the degradation on the 60 pack should be lower than with a 75 pack, where you could actually charge higher. But you can also upgrade it via, just go to Tesla and you can unlock that extra kilowatt hour, some 12, 13, I think it was 12 or 15 kilowatt hour extra you get. No, it wasn't that much, was it? Yeah, something like that. To get more if you want to use the whole battery for some reason. But to me, just keep it 60. It's good shit. Yeah, it's good. It's a bargain. And when it comes to seats, the Model X, they have two different type of seat. In the beginning, they have this kind of pod seat, whatever. You see, it's put on a pillar that can slide forward and backward. And then when you want to enter the back, you have to slide this side or that side all the way forward, and then you enter the back there. And the downside with this is that you cannot fold the seat. So if you want larger items, not possible. You can move this a little bit forward and tilt it forward. So it kind of works a little bit, but not as good as folding it. But on the other hand, it's nice that it's electronically adjusted here. You just slide it back and forward. But I also don't like the comfort here, because you sit in this fixed angle, and that's it. You can rotate the seat a little bit backwards, but still it doesn't give you that reclining feature that you get in many other cars in the same price range. So here you see the back seats will fall flat, but so you get slightly more space there, but the front is fixed like that. And then you also have the 6-seat configuration. This is very similar to what I used to have with Optimus Prime. And the advantage with the 6-seat is that it's easier to enter and exit the third row. You just go via the middle here. And also the 6-seater is not as claustrophobic in the back as the 7-seater. But this is just, my personal taste, I guess. But later, I don't remember, it was from 2018 or something, they came out with this type of 7-seater instead, which is it's foldable, you can fold it flat, but you can also recline it a little bit backwards. So I think this is a better solution. I think from now on you can only get this one. Do they have a picture when they fold it, everything? Nah, not really. But you see, with the old one, it was all the three were the individual. Now it's just 60-40, but that's good enough. I think overall this is a better solution for most people. Well, the headrest though seems lower, and okay, you can't get everything, right? So the headrest is almost as low as the classic. Look at that, huh? And it's not adjustable. So this is something that is lacking in a premium EV. Most other EV brands, they will have adjustable headrests, of course. Well, this video is getting a little bit too long, but I think I will wrap up soon. But what I will mention towards the end is that, okay, I look at some Model 3, but the Model 3s are fairly new anyway, so not much I would say about them. They still have the, well, if it's a long range, it's still well, it says F75, but it's the roughly 80 kilowatt hour pack on the long range, so they haven't changed that much there yet. But many people ask me, hey Bjørn, should I get a Model 3 or a Model S? Well, it depends, because the Model S, if you, let's say now, you know, we will check now, so for about 500,000 NOK you get, what, did I have any filter on year? Okay, if you say 2017 then, roughly, to get some I see now, okay, now, for about 400,000 NOK you could get a 75. This is 70. What? Oh no, there could also be a few 75 rear-wheel drive, but most of them in Norway are 75D. I don't know why they don't write it here, but anyway, should you get an older Model S, or should you get a Model 3? Well, it depends what you prefer, because a Model S will have more space than a Model 3, and it has that hatchback. Let me show you here. Is there a picture of it? The number of pictures, yeah, okay. Well, this just happened to be a 7-seater also, yeah. So you also get more seat space if you need it for the kids. But this huge opening here is very nice if you want to put bicycles in there or whatever. But so there are so many pros and cons with each car. This one also, usually they have, most of them, they have air suspension, which will also fail, but it's more comfortable. So Model S versus 3, I think I even have a separate video about it, right? The comfort and the noise is better in the Model S. The space is better in the Model S, but the interior, I feel like it's a bit outdated. Do we have an interior picture? Yeah, you see, this thing here, I feel it is outdated. It lacks door pocket. It has this center console. I also don't like the cup holder here. You have to slide it to access the cup holder. So interior wise, I like the Model 3 better, but space is better here. But what are the pros for the Model 3 then? Okay, and also it charges a little bit slow. I feel like it's based on old tech from 2012-13 when it comes to Model S. As for the Model 3, you can get tow hitch with it. It charges way faster. It's more efficient. It's noisier. The soundproofing is shit in the Model 3. And what else is it about the Model 3? It's, let me just take a look at the picture. Oh yeah, and then as for the trunk, okay, okay, here. The trunk opening is tiny. So if you have demand for some larger cargo, then you will be disappointed in the Model 3. So that's the downside with Model 3. But I feel like, I mean, this again is my personal opinion, that the interior in the Model 3 is more updated. It's nicer. It has better design and everything. You have door pocket there. You have the cup holder here. You can still use the what do you call it? Rest here, and you also have an opening there. All this stuff is important when you drive on a long trip and you want to put all your cargo, I mean all your phone and whatever smaller items, you put them there. So ergonomically, I like Model 3 better. And I used to be against the single screen in the Model 3, and I used to say that, I don't want the Model 3 because I want an instrument cluster here. But after using it a while, I realized that I don't miss that instrument cluster. I'm not saying this because I want to protect my own choice here. No, I realized that it's no big deal. I can live with this just fine. Tesla has organized the user interface in a good way so you can use it without any problem. So Again, in the end, you have to figure out by yourself. Is it important for efficiency and charging speed? And do you need trailer hitched? Then you go for Model 3. If you want a more modern car, you go for this one. You want more space, you go for the Model S. But yes, I think I have to end here because it's going to be way too long if I talk about every detail, and I didn't tap too much into all the issues that you could get with different cars and what to expect. So that would just be way too long. But just give you guys some input in the Model S. I'm sorry, in the Tesla. In the Tesla second-hand market. So hopefully this was useful for you. Was it something I should have gone deeper into, do you guys think? Or was this good enough? So let me guys, let me know in the comments something. Ah, shit, okay. Let's just end here. So that's it then. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching and talk to you later. Oh, are we done yet?